forecast first from KARK4, your weather authority.
Very pleasant weather to start this new work week across Arkansas today. The area of high pressure that brought the chilly temperatures this morning is moving south and east, though. That means temperatures, although they'll be cool tonight, not quite as cold as what we saw last night across the state. Most places not dropping any lower than the low to mid 50s, which is pretty close where we should be for this time of year. Your forecast first for Little Rock, we're looking for clear skies, 72 degrees at 7 p.m., 53 at 7 a.m. KARK4 News at 5 starts right now.
Now, from the station you count on for local news that matters, this is KARK4 News at 5 in high definition.
Tonight, all eyes on the Cummins unit in the Arkansas Department of Correction as the state prepares for a double execution this evening in just a few hours. Jack Jones and Marcel Williams are set to be executed this evening. Thanks for joining us tonight at 5. I'm Bob Clausen.
And I'm Ashley Katz, live from the Cummins unit, where the Arkansas Department of Correction is moving forward, preparing for another night of executions in Arkansas. At this point, it appears there is nothing standing in the way, blocking the state from carrying out its first double execution since 2000. And here is a look at the inmates who are scheduled to die tonight by lethal injection. Jack Jones is set to be executed first. That's about 2 hours from right now at 7 o'clock. Followed by Marcel Williams at 8:15. Both convicted killers were moved from death row to a cell here at Cummins, just next to the death chamber. This was Saturday night, all in preparation of tonight's executions. We have team coverage for you. Stephanie Sharp is here at the prison with me. She'll have a look back at the murder cases, both of them dating back to the mid-90s. Also, Drew Petrimo, he is live tonight on Capitol Hill. He is tracking the latest developments at the Supreme Court. Marcy Manley, she is back in the studio in Little Rock following all of the last-minute legal filings. We want to start, though, with Marcy, because at this point, Marcy, it doesn't appear like we've seen anything that could delay or block tonight's scheduled executions like we did a week ago.
Yeah, Ashley, that's right. And as you pointed out, there are just 2 hours until the start of these scheduled executions. Both Jones and Williams have appealed and requested stays of execution from the United States Supreme Court. Today's decisions from the 8th Circuit Court of Appeals and the Arkansas Supreme Court came much more quickly than in previous cases. Both Williams and Jones had alleged the drug protocol ADC planned to use would be frustrated by their health conditions. They also alleged problems with ineffective counsel and problems in the legal process. But by 2:30 this afternoon, all of the pending cases for stays of execution had been denied for Jones and Williams, and both have appealed those denials to the United States Supreme Court at this point. Now, in the previous cases that have been appealed to the Supreme Court, the justices have declined to take action where the lower courts did not. On the one hand, the justices declined to overturn the stay of execution in place for Don Davis a week ago. On the other hand, the court declined to intervene and issue a stay of execution for Liddell Lee on Thursday. So as you can imagine, a lot of people watching and waiting. Certainly the inmates and the attorneys are looking toward what will happen at this point, but also victims' families and ADC officials are patiently waiting to see what will transpire. And, you know, these proceedings and legal developments have been happening over the past few days, but Jones has spent decades on death row, and KARK's Stephanie Sharp joins us now. Stephanie, one of Jones's victims says it's past time for him to face his fate.
That's exactly right, Marcy. A lot of these families have been waiting decades to see this day happen, and now it's just a waiting game. We're told the Phillips family will be here tonight. But taking a look at those cases and those victims and their families, in 1995, 11-year-old Lacey Phillips was with her mom Mary at an accounting office in Bald Knob. Jack Jones robbed them and raped and murdered Lacey's mom Mary. Jones beat Lacey, but she survived. Jones was sentenced to death a year later. During the past 2 decades on death row, Jones has had a series of medical issues, including diabetes that caused him to lose his legs, one of his legs rather. He and his attorney argued that all the medicine he's on could render the lethal injection drugs useless. Lacey Phillips survived her attack, but says it still haunts her every day.
I don't want to live another day knowing that he's alive. 21 years. And he's still here.
Jack Jones has made it clear he's never wanted clemency or deserves forgiveness. We've been told that, like I said earlier, part of Phillips's family will be here watching Jack Jones' execution tonight. We are told other members of the family are here on prison grounds. However, they do not want to watch the execution. KARK4's Isabella Moeller went to Bald Knob today. And Isabella, you said some of the people you spoke with remember this case.
Yeah, Stephanie, for many in Bald Knob today, they say they vaguely remember what happened to Mary and Lacey Phillips, but for one woman, it's constantly on her mind. She's Mary's old neighbor and says today's execution is a long time coming.
It was just a normal day.
Peggy Best remembers June 6th, 1995 perfectly.
I heard the wheeler going up and down the road like midnight, 12:30.
Peggy says it was Mary Phillips' son driving up the road hoping to find his missing mother.
I'm going to make me cry.
And heard the tragic news the next day.
No, I couldn't believe anyone could do that to her and Lacey, ever.
Phillips found killed in this office building, now abandoned, along Highway 367 North in Bald Knob.
She was a special lady. She was one of the kindest people I have ever met.
The gruesome murder and attack of Phillips and her daughter happened close to 22 years ago. And now, many in Bald Knob say the execution of Jack Jones is long overdue.
He deserves a death. If he took a life, he deserves it.
Leon Little says he strongly believes in the death penalty.
All the Bible says, if you take a life, you owe a life. And I believe the Bible. It's the Word of God.
But his wife, Carol, a little more hesitant about the executions.
I worry about this. I don't know what all they're shooting in his veins.
To me, it will be a sense of justification. It will be justified to me that happens to him.
For Peggy, the execution of Jack Jones will bring her closure.
I think a lot of people will be watching to see that it does happen.
And she says it's a night 22 years in the making.
And everyone telling me today they will be watching the news and social media closely tonight as they anticipate Jones to be executed there at the Cummins unit. The Phillips family isn't the only one hoping to get justice today. Stephanie Sharp explains how another family hopes this ends their nightmare.
Yeah, Isabella, Stacey Erickson was a young mother of two when she died, and her husband was deployed overseas when she was killed. And taking a look at that case, in 1994, Stacey Erickson was getting gas in Jacksonville. 24-year-old Marcel Williams forced her into his car at gunpoint, drove her to several ATMs to make a total of 18 transactions, then raped and strangled her in an abandoned storage shed. Erickson was 23 years old. He buried her body in a shallow grave near a smokestack in North Little Rock. 2 days after Erickson's murder, Williams kidnapped and raped two other women within 12 hours. A friend of Erickson's was the last to see her alive, and she says she still has a hole in her heart after more than 2 decades.
Marcel Williams is my boogeyman. He doesn't deserve any mercy.
22 years later, one of Williams's victims came all the way from New Jersey to look at him in the eyes once more, and she asked the Arkansas Parole Board to spare his life. And a remorseful Williams said, and he couldn't hold back tears, saying, quote, "I am so sorry. I wish I could take it back, but I can't." A lot of emotion here today, but I know those families really will be looking for justice.
That's right. We're still waiting to learn if Stacey Erickson's family will be here at Cummins tonight to witness the execution of Marcel Williams. We do know that ADC does have a process in place when it comes to selecting witnesses from the media. Stephanie, there will be 3 reporters that will watch the executions of both inmates tonight, right?
That's exactly right. And typically how it's been going is one AP reporter, a newspaper reporter, and a media, a TV or radio reporter. We have KARK4's Jessie Turner. She's inside already. She's ready to get her name on the list. She does want to be one of those media witnesses tonight. She just has a very responsible job to do tonight. So she's inside. We're going to be getting updates from her throughout the day. She'll be posting on Twitter. I'm going to keep a look on Twitter and then update everybody as soon as we learn more from her. We should know the first media update is around at 5:30, so we should know more then.
That's right. We also hope to learn more about how Jack Jones and Marcel Williams have spent their final hours here at Cummins. We will have all of that information coming up for you tonight at 6 o'clock. But for now, we're live at Cummins in Lincoln County. Back to you, Bob.
All right, guys, thanks very much. And, of course, keep it here. We're bringing you special coverage throughout the evening. You can follow the latest developments. We're going to have special coverage that begins at 6:30, keeping you updated on Facebook and on all of our social media platforms. Of course, ArkansasMatters.com as well. Still to come this evening, a Little Rock teen shot in a drive-by over the weekend. How she's doing tonight, what officials know about the person who pulled the trigger.
And you don't get many days like this during April in Arkansas. Here in the capital city, a chilly start at 45, a very comfortable afternoon at 76. Now, the cooler weather as of late has kind of slowed down the biting, but, you know, it's going to be picking up again. But for now, the skeeter meter says swatting is possible. We also have severe weather possible in the forecast. Well, those details just ahead.
KARK4 News is sponsored by Everett Buick GMC.
It is different. It is different.
At Everett, it is different.
It is different.
It is different.